Hello and welcome back to another editing breakdown. Today we're going to take this photo of a British Airways Airbus A350 from looking like this to looking like this. Now this is actually one of my favourite photos I've ever edited, which is why I wanted to do a video dedicated to it, because not long after posting it, I received this message from British Airways. And if you're watching this video, I'm sure you can relate to the incredible feeling I got upon receiving that. So that's why I wanted to take you guys through my process of editing. So this photo was taken at the threshold of runway 27 right at Heathrow. So the settings for this photo were a focal length of 118mm, an aperture of f7.1, a shutter speed of a 1/640th of a second, that slips off the tongue, and an ISO of 250. It was taken with my Canon R5 with a Canon 70-300mm lens. As per normal, we will be doing this in Lightroom Classic. So got the photo loaded in, as you can see here. It's nicely exposed, it's in focus. I mean, a shutter speed that high, you're pretty guaranteed it to be sharp. The first thing I do, I kind of start at the top with the white balance. I mean, it was trying to be sunny that day, so we're just going to pop the temperature up to about 5,700-ish. Then we are going to pop the exposure up, just because it is a little bit dark. You can see the shadows on the belly. We go up to probably just not quite 0.95. There we go. And then we will drop the highlights down, sort of around -66 we're going for there. And then we'll bring the shadows up just to try and lift up the dark bit of the aircraft here, because that is our subject after all. Not much, just bring it up by 24. Cool. Okay, so now we just want to introduce just a little bit of contrast. So we are going to just drop the blacks down just a little bit to -15. There we go. And already you can see it's actually starting to not look too bad, even just with those little tweaks. We'll pop a bit of dehaze on there just to bring a bit of clarity to it, but a bit more contrast. And then the vibrance as well, we can just pop up just a touch. Let's go +7 on that one. So with my process, I tend to start, as you've just seen, with exposure, white balance, adding contrast and a bit of vibrance and or saturation. Then I'll take a jump right down to the calibration, because this will change the colours at the base level rather than editing the colours. Don't think that makes sense, but bear with me on it. It's just the process I found works best for my style of editing. So we will we'll drop I always like turning the oranges to a more pinky hue, so we'll bring the red calibration hue down to about there, about -13. You can sort of see if I do a drastic change, that the mark under the Q park there, how that changes from orange to red. So just with it down sort of around 14, -13, -14, just makes those oranges that more of the reddy side of things. The green, we'll do the same principle with the greens, bringing more towards a blue hue this time. So we're just going to add a bit of that up to about -15. You see that affects the sky. Just want that bit slightly more turquoisey, aqua blue sky rather than a traditional blue, so to speak. So we'll go up to 15 on that. And then with the same thing in mind, we'll bring the blue primary down to about -20-ish. 17 would do. And you just see it brings that, I'd zoom in there on the sky, where the sky's blue. Just gives it that more aesthetic blue vibe to the sky, in my humble opinion, that is. Now we've done that, we'll move back up the menu to the HSL, the Hue, Saturation and Luminance section, where we will have a fiddle with all three, I think. Just look at my notes, cheating. Yep, so we'll start with Hue, where again with the same principle, we want to make the red, especially with the BA flag, just want to bring that back to the nice red it is. So we'll bring the hue down. You sort of see it changing there as I scroll up and down. Don't want much, again -11 will do. Same principle with the aqua. We want to make the keep that aquary, is that a word? It is now, vibe to the sky. So we want to just bring it down again, just so how the sky changes there. So we're just going to bring it down here, just for -8, that's close enough. No, let's stick with -11. And then the blue, again, just drop that ever so slightly. -6, there we go. So far, just looking at the before and afters, we've brightened the whole image up a little bit. We've brought a nice warm tone to it, as well as giving that sky the more pleasant blue hue. Try saying that quickly 5 times to it. So that, again, brings that more summery, bright, happy vibe to it. Again, that's sort of my personal style as well, so it kind of helps it weave into that. Now we're just going to boost the saturation, again in the hue, saturation and luminance tab. So we're going to bring the red up to sort of 30-ish, 34 will do. Just bring out the red of the BA flag, and we'll go down to the aqua, bring that up a little bit, 14. Same with the blue, so we'll bring that up to about 10. There we go. So as you can see, what's starting to happen now is the white aircraft is starting to adopt a bit of a blue hue as well. Don't worry about that, because we will sort it out. This is the thing with photo editing, is sometimes you have got to crack the eggs to make the omelette, so to speak. So in what we're doing there, I focus quite heavily on the sky and how that looks, and what it's actually done is made the aircraft look potentially a bit worse, because it's adopted this really real blue hue. But this is where editing is actually like such a multi-layered process, where you've got to work through the whole thing before you get to an image. Not every stage of editing will make the whole image look better. So it's a really important habit to get into, of not getting disheartened with moving one thing, going, oh, I like everything apart from this little bit. It doesn't matter. If it's adding to the image, it all builds, all layers, and that's what brings a unique side to an edit, and also just what gives you that final, that image is me, that's my style. So luminance is the brightness of a colour. So as you can see, as I do the extremes, it's only working on the blue, which is the sky, and I just want to bring a bit more detail back into that. So I'm just going to drop that down to sort of -20-ish, -21. Again, that's also made the aircraft darker, because the aircraft's picked up that blue hue. That luminance is affecting the aircraft as well as the sky, which I don't like. It makes it look dark, and it kind of blends it into the sky. And this is the subject. This is the only subject from the photo, so we really want it to pop out. So this is where masking comes in with its cape, with its arm in front, to save the day. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on masking, and we're going to go add new mask, and we're going to select subject. Now this AI mask tool on Lightroom, all the Adobe products really, is so good. But it clearly, I don't know how, it's witchcraft, right? It understands the different types of subject. So this, as you can see, it's selected the aircraft, which is perfect. We don't have to fanny around for hours on end, drawing around it or brushing it in and uncolouring bits that we don't want. It gives a fantastic selection with just one click, and this is going to allow us to eliminate the blue and make the subject stand out. What we're going to do is we're going to bring, first things first, bring the exposure up to 0.34, I reckon. We don't want to go too bright here, although it's tempting because you want it to stand out. If it goes too bright, that's where they start to look really over-edited, because it's not natural for one thing in a photo to be so much brighter than the rest, especially outdoors where you haven't got lighting and, you know, particular flashes and stuff like that. So don't be tempted to get too carried away. So just 0.35 in this case, absolutely fine. We will bring a bit of contrast to it as well. Plus 13, 14, 15. Let's go 16. Let's go 16. And then to combat that blue, you've got your 4 ways of colour. So you've got your green and your magenta, your blue and your orange or your yellow. So because we've got blue, all we've got to do is move the temperature more towards the warm side. So the blue's the cool, so the aircraft's quite cool. All we're going to do is just warm it up, moving this tab, and just see, again, looking at the extremes, just how much that brings that to life from where it was there. And we're going to move it up to about 20-ish, 23. just how that really just brings that white, the actual white back to the aircraft. So by just turning that mask on and off, just how quickly the aircraft becomes the subject again. It's not just a photo with an aircraft in it. The aircraft is the subject and it's brought to life, and yeah, it's perfect. So while we're there, we're going to add another mask. We're going to do a linear gradient. And because you can kind of tell by the way that the car's on the bottom right hand side here and that sign, the sun was coming from the right hand side. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag from the right, top right, and this is effectively the sunlight. We're boosting the sunlight. It's not necessarily fake sunlight because it was there, but it will give the vibe of sort of a real bright, lovely, visually pleasing photo. So what we'll do is going to bring that up. Not too high, again, because I don't want it to be too fake. 0.46, I reckon. And then because the sun traditionally is warm, gives that warm vibe, we will just give a little bit of extra temperature, +6 on that one. And then if I just flick that mask on and off, again, it's very subtle, but it's like I said, it's all these subtle little layers that build up to make one sexy cake. And that is this stunning photo, but we're not done yet. Okay, so that is our masking done. What we're going to do now is crop it perfectly for Instagram. So a 4:5 crop, if you didn't know, is the perfect crop for Instagram. There we go. I think it was crop, something like that. Work with the rule of thirds. So before and after there, already that's a million times better than it was straight out of camera, right? I don't know about you. This car park bit here is really, really annoying. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click on it. We're going to go on Edit In and Edit in Adobe Shop. Oh, why have I not got 2025 on my lap? Hopefully you'll have the most up-to-date version of Photoshop. I just clearly haven't installed it on my laptop. But what it'll do is that by doing it that way, it automatically imports it straight into Photoshop with all your edits applied as a new image. Then what we're going to do is we are just going to unlock the layer and potentially have a bit of a quick fix here, and kind of just with the pen tool, so pushing P for pen with the pen tool, selecting around the car park bit at the bottom, push Command Enter to make the selection, going Edit, Content Aware Fill. And then we're just going to use the brush. We're going to just deselect the aircraft because we don't want to fill it with any aircraft. And then if we want to, we can hold Option and we can add a bit of the blue sky. Not that it really changes it much. And we get our preview on the right here. And easy as that, it's filled in the gap. You can play around with this as much as you want. You can get a lot more technical with it. You could do a whole sky replacement if you wanted to, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to do this. But a sky replacement would also work just as well. And then you want to make sure you've got output to a new layer and click OK. Command D to deselect. Bring that back and then boom. Easy as that. Couple of clicks. The car park's gone and it just transforms that image into what it is. So there we go. We just then go export and there we are. So that was my editing process for that photo of the BA A350. Again, like I say, one of my favourite photos, got featured by them on their Instagram. There it is. Hopefully there's some tips in there. Obviously, as I'll always say with these editing videos, each photo is different. Every lighting condition is different, every subject is different, every camera is different, everything's different. But all of these principles can be manipulated, mixed in with your personal styles to help, develop things, and just like little subject maskings and stuff like that, just added to what you already do, may make all the difference. So hopefully it's helped, hopefully it's taught you something new. And yeah, as usual, I'd love to see your editing, I'd love to see your photos. So follow me on Instagram, stick comments down below. Please share this video far and wide, like, subscribe, comment, all of that kind of good stuff that you already know how to do. And I will see you in the next one.